Okay, let's remember again signs of trigonometric functions on each of the quadrants. In the first quadrant, it is easy to remember. All the functions are positive. In the second quadrant, only this sign, because sign is a y divided by r, so y coordinate of any point on the second quadrant is positive, and r is also positive, so y divided by r will be positive, and r over y, which is cosecant, positive. We have two functions positive, and all other functions are negative. So if you just want to maybe just to make it easy to remember, Shabab, remember sign and the y coordinate are connected in terms of this positive or negative. Sine and the y coordinate, similarly cosecant. So if y coordinate is positive, then sine function will be positive. Okay, so that will help you to remember easily. When you come to the third quadrant, we just divide the y with x for the tangent theta, and x divided by y for the cotangent theta. So since both coordinates of the points are negative, so negative divided by negative will be positive. So every other functions will be negative in the third quadrant. Because y is negative, so sine is negative, x is negative, so cosine is negative, and the secant and cosecant will be negative. So only cotangent and tangent positive in the third quadrant. In the fourth quadrant, we just need to remember again, the x coordinate is positive in the fourth quadrant. So that means cosine should be positive. And similarly, secant is just 1 over cosine, so it is also positive. Okay, maybe that makes it easy for you to memorize, Shabab. Remember which function is positive or negative in the quadrant. And here is our reference angle for angles which is greater than 90 degree, because if the angle is an acute angle, so the reference is itself. You don't need a reference angle. So a reference of 30 degree is 30 degree. You don't need a reference. Reference of 40 degree is 40 degree. But if you have angle which is in the second quadrant, then reference angle will be the angle, positive angle, of course, positive angle between the terminal side of the theta and the x-axis. So to find the theta prime, we call it, so you just need to subtract theta from the 180. So theta prime is equal to 180 minus theta. It will give you the reference of theta. In the quadrant 3, you have the terminal side, so you are going to subtract the 180 from the theta, because theta is greater than 180, as you see. So 100 theta minus 180 will give you the reference angle. And when you come to the fourth quadrant, everybody, in the fourth quadrant, you're going to subtract 360 minus theta. You see, 360 minus theta will give you the theta prime, which is the reference of theta. So imagine, Shabab, imagine we are trying to calculate sine or cosine of 135 degree. And as you see, the terminal side is on the second quadrant, in second quadrant. And remember, how did we calculate the trigonometric values of theta? By using point on the terminal side, right, Shiva?
Yes.
I need to have a point on the terminal side. But in this case, if I know the reference angle, and if the reference angle is something we know, like 30, 45, 60, right? Then I don't need to use the point on the terminal side. I'm going to use the trigonometric values of 45 to calculate the trigonometric values of 135. So we are looking for cosine 135. Well, clearly cosine is a negative number in the second quadrant. Okay? But for the cosine of 45, it is a root 2 over 2. Of course, it is positive number. So to get the value of cosine 145, we are going to just multiply cosine 45 with negative. That's all we need to do. So
the
which
negative
is negative root 2 over 2. All right?
Doctor?
Yes?
The negative is for the second coordinate?
Yes, because cosine 135 should be negative number, right?
Yes.
Because x coordinate is negative here, so it should be negative number, cosine, as
Yes.
I explained just in a previous slide.
Okay, thank you.
For example, maybe we like to calculate the sine of, why not, right? Sine of 135, everybody. What is the sign of the sine function? Is it positive or negative in the second quadrant?
Positive.
Positive. Yes, because y coordinate is positive. Well, so it is going to be equal to, directly equal to sine of 45. Sine of 45, which is root 2 over 2. Clear? And maybe we like to calculate tangent of 135. Tangent 135. Everybody, is the tangent negative or positive in the second quadrant?
Negative.
Negative. So it will be negative tangent reference angle. Tangent of reference angle, which is tangent of 45. So do we remember tangent of 45, Shabab?
1.
1. So tangent of 135 will be negative 1. You understand how we use the reference angle, Shabab? Is it clear now? Okay. The another is tangent of 390 degree. Well, let's go to next slide. Tangent of 390 degree. So when you find the because this is a greater than one rotation, right? 390 degree is a greater than one rotation. So we like to find the coterminal of the 390 first. And if you remember, how do we find the coterminal, right? Do you guys remember? How do we find?
Yes, by subtracting 360 or 360.
Exactly. Subtract 360. So 390 minus 360 equals 30. So they are coterminal, everybody. 390 and 30 degree are coterminal. Well, in this case, tangent of 390 equals tangent of 30 degree. So it is actually coterminal, so you don't need to, go for the reference. All the functions of 390 is the same as the functions of 30 degree because of the coterminal, Shabab. All right. sine of 390 is equal to sine of 30. Cosine of 390 equal cosine of 30 because it is coterminal, Shabab. You see? So you don't need to worry about is it positive or is it negative. No, they are exactly the same. If one is positive, then another is positive. If one is negative, another is negative. It is coterminal.
Doctor?
Again, yes, Shabab?
We said in that example that both tangent 390 and tangent 30 are positive because it's in the first coordinate.
Yeah, if it is in the first quadrant, if it is in the second quadrant, third quadrant, whatever. If two angles are coterminal,
Yes.
one alpha, another is theta coterminal, then tangent alpha will be equal to tangent theta. You know?
Either it's positive or negative.
Positive or negative. They are equal to each other, exactly equal to each other.
Oh, okay.
Very good. So here is again, you know, as I explained, you know, in the previous slides, how to find the reference of angle depending on the locations, everybody. So, okay, so let's just continue for calculations. Here is the steps. If you if you have angle which is, you know, within the one rotation, which is less than 2 pi, you know, first you need to find the reference angle. And second, determine if the function is positive or negative in the, you know, location in the quadrant. And then you just need to multiply the trigonometric value of the reference angle depending on the location. And now I just summarized it here in a short the way. Trigonometric value of theta is the same as maybe positive or maybe negative depending on the location. Trigonometric value of the reference angle of the theta. Okay. So this positive, negative depends on the quadrant of theta, of course. All right, let's see the calculations. Now, we like to calculate sine of 16 pi over 3. Well, 16 pi over 3 is greater than one rotation, right, Shiva? It is a big angle, greater than one rotation. So I like to find the coterminal first. And I'm sure everybody remembers how to find the coterminal. So 16 pi over 3 minus 4 pi will give you 4 pi over 3. Okay? So it is coterminal with 16 pi over 3. So therefore, Shabab, sine of 16 pi over 3 is exactly same as sine of coterminal angle, 4 pi over 3. Now just study on sine 4 pi over 3. Forget about 16 pi over 3. Study sine of coterminal angle here. Now, where is the 4 pi over 3, everybody? 4 pi over 3 is in the third quadrant. Right? It is in the third quadrant. And the reference angle, how did we find the reference? 4 pi over 3 minus pi, right? Theta minus pi will give you the reference angle. 4 pi over 3 minus pi equals pi over 3. So this is the reference of 4 pi over 3. So is the sine function negative or positive in the third quadrant?
Negative.
Negative. So I'm going to multiply negative sine pi over 3, which is negative root 3 over 2. All right. So, Shabab, so sine of 16 pi over 3 is the same as sine of 4 pi over 3, which is equal to negative root 3 over 2. All right. Are we sure, Shabab? We understood the idea here? Everybody?
Doctor, so we first find the coterminal angle from 16 pi over 3.
Yes, because it is greater than one rotation, right?
Yes.
So find the coterminal first, and then look at the reference of the coterminal.
Yes.
Reference of the coterminal is 4 pi over 3 minus pi, which is pi over 3.
Doctor, isn't 360 equals to 2 pi?
Huh?
360 equals to 2 pi?
2 pi, yes.
Why did we say 4 pi?
Well, we subtract 2 times 360.
So it's greater than 360, the angle 16 pi over 3.
Yeah, this is too big, Shabab. This is,
Yes.
so you can subtract 4 pi. If you subtract 6 pi, it will be too much, right?
Yes.
So
we find the minimum.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good.
Doctor.
Yes?
Yes, please. We find the quaternal angle, which is 4 over 3 pi, right? And it is
4 pi over, yeah.
Yes, and it is in the third quadrant. Why
Yes.
we didn't subtract 2 pi? Why it's pi in the last steps?
Shabab, if you subtract 2 pi, it's not going to give you coterminal.
Yes, yes. I'm not talking about quaternal. The last step, finding
last step here, yes. Subtract pi, Shabab. This is 4 pi over 3 is in the third quadrant. Do you understand why this 4 pi over 3 in the third quadrant, Shabab?
Oh, okay.
Right? Maybe I should mark these things here for you. So here, pi over 2, Shabab. Pi over 2. Here, pi, huh? You understand? Here, how much here?
Pi over 2.
3 pi over 4.
3 pi over 2. And here, 2 pi, Shabab. Now, you see the 4 pi over 3 is greater than pi, huh? Is it easy for you to understand?
Yes.
Yes.
4 pi over 3 is clearly greater than pi, I guess, everybody, but less than 3 pi over 2. Less than 3 pi over 2. So it is not going to fourth quadrant. It is stopping in the third quadrant. So are you guys sure you understood this part? 4 pi over 3 is less than 3 pi over 2?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. If you are sure, then okay, then we can continue. So we understood, Shabab, 4 pi over 3 is in the third quadrant. So I just need to subtract 4 pi over 3 minus pi. So that will give you the reference angle in the third quadrant. All right. Is there still any questions, Shabab? Anything unclear? Now, for another one, you see the secant of negative pi over 4. So negative pi over 4 is a angle in the quadrant 4, and it is negative angle because of the direction, right? It is a direction, so we call it a negative angle. So, but the reference of the negative angle is the positive angle. So the reference is always positive angle. We do not use the direction for the reference angle. It's a positive number. So reference of negative pi over 4 is pi over 4 basically. According to the definition, reference angle is the positive angle between the terminal side and the x-axis. You see, between terminal side and x-axis. It's a positive number. So we do not use the direction in this case. So reference of negative pi over 4 is pi over 4 شباب. Reference of negative pi over 3 is pi over 3 and so on.
Doctor, can you repeat the point? I don't quite understand it.
So in the reference angle, we just need to remove the negative. So it is reference is pi over 4, not the negative pi over 4.
If it's in the fourth coordinate?
Yes. Yes.
So we don't.
It must be a positive angle, not a
360.
negative angle.
We don't subtract 2 pi or 360.
No, Shabab. In this picture, you don't need to subtract anything. You just need to remove the negative sign. All right? Just memorize like that. So cosecant of secant of negative pi over 4 is the same as secant of pi over 4. Because the fourth quadrant, a secant is positive. Because cosine positive. Remember, Shabab? Cosine positive, so secant positive. So if it is positive, so it will be equal to exactly secant of pi over 4, which is root 2. You see, secant fourth quadrant is positive. You see that? Root 2. If you like to calculate cosecant of negative pi over 4, it will be equal to negative cosecant pi over 4, which is negative root 2, because cosecant is negative in the fourth quadrant.
Doctor?
Yes.
Is there any case we subtract 2 pi if the angle in the fourth quadrant?
The case is here, Shabab. Or is it?
If it's only in degrees, يعني?
Yeah, here. If you have a positive angle here in the fourth quadrant, you see? If you
Yes.
have picture like this, please memorize the picture at least. If you have picture like this, so subtract 360 minus theta. You know, in this case. But in the negative angle case, you know, if you have the picture like this, please remove the negative sign. So it will give you pi over 4. So this angle is pi over 4. If you like to see the direction, it is negative pi over 4, of course. So I don't look at the direction. I am looking at how much is this angle. So it's a positive pi over 4, okay? The value, you know, numerical value is pi over 4.
Doctor.
Yes, please.
Yes. What if the initial side is in the third quadrant, but from the negative with negative angle? What's gonna be the reference
So
angle?
initial side is always x-axis, Shabab. Initial side cannot be in any other
I mean
sign.
terminal. Excuse me, terminal. Terminal
Terminal.
side.
Well, maybe we should look at the exercises. مثلا, this is in the second quadrant, huh? You see? So 495. Well, this is, you know, a greater than one rotation. 495 is greater than one rotation. So I need to look at the co-terminal first. 495 minus 360 equals 135. This is coterminal. Now, forget about 495. Look at 135. So how do you find the reference of 135, Shabab? 180 minus 135, which is 45. And if you like to see maybe 135, maybe somebody wants to see where is 135. 135 is here, huh, Shabab? This is 135. 495 is, you know, one extra rotation, right? So 135 is the coterminal angle. So we find the reference of coterminal, which is 45 degree. All right, Sheba. So now sine of 495 is the same as sine of 45, because in the second quadrant, sine must be positive. So it is root 2 over 2. And similarly, if you look at cosine of 495, well, in the second quadrant, it will be negative, of course. So it is a negative cosine reference angle. So it is negative root 2 over 2. All right. And other pictures we already covered, so you can practice again, Sheva. Did I answer your question, by the way? There was...
Yes.
Okay. Now look at here, Shabab. We have a 5 pi over 3. Well, 5 pi over 3 is in the quadrant 4, Shabab.
Yes.
Well, is it easy for
2 pi.
everybody to understand it is in the quadrant 4?
Yes.
Maybe somebody needs more explanation, I am sure. So we need to do, we need to just remember this part. This is 3 pi over 2. Here 2 pi, right? So now, how do you know a 5 pi over 3 is less than 2 pi? I guess this is easy to understand, right? Because 2 pi is 6 pi over 3, so it is greater than 5 pi over 3 by simple logic, right? And it is greater than 3 pi over 2. So this part, I want to make sure that you guys are okay. 5 pi over 3 is greater than 3 pi over 2. Huh? Are you guys okay?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So if this is clear, hopefully, then how do we find the reference angle? Well, reference angle is 2 pi minus 5 pi over 3, of course. 2 pi minus 5 pi over 3 is pi over 3. Now, if you like to calculate, for example, tangent of 5 pi over 3, well, tangent of 5 pi over 3 is the same as a negative of a reference angle. Negative of tangent reference angle. So tangent of reference angle is root 3, so you need to multiply by negative, so it is negative root 3. And if you like to calculate cosine of the 5 pi over 3, is the same as cosine of the reference angle, because it is positive in the fourth quadrant. Cosine is positive. All right. How about here? We have 870 degree. Well, it is even greater than 2 rotations, right? So
Yes.
to find the co-terminal, just subtract 870 minus the 870 minus 720, right? Which is 150. 150 degree is the what? Co-terminal, huh, Shabab? 150. Yes. And maybe we like to see where is the 150, by the way. 150 is this one, right, Shabab? Oops. This is 150. So now you just forget about 870. Just focus on 150 because they are coterminal. All right. All right. Now, how do you find the reference of 150, Shabab?
We subtract it from 180.
Quite simple. So 180 minus 150 is 30 degrees. That is the reference angle. Now let's calculate. What is tangent of 870? Well, it is in the second quadrant. Tangent should be negative. So it is a negative tangent of 30 degrees, which is negative 1 over root 3. So that is tangent of 870 degree equals negative 1 over root 3. Okay, Shabab, is it clear? Maybe another one. Maybe another one. Let's see, cosine maybe. Cosine, Shabab, 870 equals to negative or positive. What do you think, Shabab?
Negative.
Negative cosine of
30.
reference angle. So it is 30 degree. All right, so it is negative. What is cosine 30?
Root 3 over 2.
Root 3 over.
Exactly, you see? And who's going to calculate a sine of 870, Shabab?
Half.
Half. Perfect. Sine of 870 is the same as sine of 30. It is half. All right. So looks like it's clear. Now, how do we use this reference angle? Remember, Shabab, if you do not have these reference angles, how would you calculate the sine and cosine of these 870? Huh? How do you calculate? How did we calculate normally without reference angle? How did we calculate the
terminal.
Calculator.
The
Calculator.
point. The point X and Y.
We need a point on the terminal side, Shabab. We need a point on the terminal side to calculate the trigonometric functions. But in the reference angle, we don't need to find the point, you see, because I'm using the reference angle. All right?
Doctor,
Yes.
when I need the points.
Okay,
When
Shabab,
is it
when do
important?
we need a point, Shabab? Did you understand?
When we don't have a terminal, I mean the angle.
Reference angle. Yes.
That means if we have an angle, we don't need to have the points, right?
Yes. Yes,
Okay,
exactly. Exactly. Now, here are some the reference angle questions, Shabab. So 7 pi over 10. Well, is this a big angle, Shabab? It's not a big angle. It's not a more than one rotation. It is less than pi, huh? Clear?
Yes.
7 pi over 10 is less than pi. And it is greater than pi over 2. 7 pi over 10 is greater than pi over 2. Maybe if you write pi over 2 as 5 pi over 10, then you will see, you see. 7 pi is greater than 5 pi, so divide by 10. It is greater than 5 pi over 10. Yani, it is greater than pi over 2. Right? So it looks like it is in the second quadrant. Second quadrant. So how do you find the reference in the second quadrant, Shabab? Well, pi minus 7 pi over 10, of course, which is 3 pi over 10.
Doctor,
Yeah.
if I find the answer with degree, is it okay rather than radian?
You want to change 7 pi over 10 to degree?
Yeah. If you bring
Well,
this question like in the quiz and I put it in degree, is it okay?
yes, why not? You can change it to degree, and then at the end you go back to the radian, so we will accept it.
So we have to write the final answer as a radian or as whatever
Yes,
the
if you
question
are
wants.
asking radian, please, yes, if you are asking radian, of course you need to write it in terms of radian, yes.
Okay, thank you.
But if this calculation is scary for you, just switch back to degree, Shabab. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mesela, we have 23 pi over 7. Pi over 7. So which is greater than 1 rotation, of course. So let me find the coterminal first, Shabab. So I subtract 2 pi. When you subtract 2 pi, you will get 9 pi over 7.
Terminal angle.
This is coterminal, Shabab. Now forget about 23 pi over 7. Look at 9 pi over 7. Well, where is 9 pi over 7, Shabab? Clearly, it is greater than pi. But it is less than 3 pi over 2. This part is up to you. Just tell me if you do not understand this one, Shabab. 9 pi over 7 is less than 3 pi over 2. If you understood, please explain me that you understood. How do you know that?
Doctor, I have a way to distinguish which one is
How
bigger.
do you do that, Shabab?
Yeah, it's
The domain.
we multiply 2 with 9, it gives us 18. So we put it
2
in
times 9. 2 times 9 is 18 on this side, on 18 on this side, right?
7 with
7 times 3,
21.
21 is this side, sir?
So
Ava. So 21 is greater than 18. So this is correct. All right. Thank you very much. That is good. Now you are sure that this angle is in the third quadrant. So how did we find the reference in the third quadrant? Well, 9 pi over 7 minus pi, which is 2 pi over 7. 2 pi over 7. Of course, there is there is direct way. If you subtract 3 pi, it will give you 2 pi over 7, 23 pi over 7 minus 3 pi, it's going to give you the reference angle by skipping coterminal angle. We skipped the coterminal angle and we found the reference angle directly, you see? You see, Shabab, subtracting 3 pi does not give you coterminal. Remember, Shabab?
Yes.
Just make sure you are not confusing. This is not a coterminal. 23 pi over 7 minus a 3 pi. You cannot subtract 3 pi to find the coterminal. You need to subtract 2 pi, 4 pi, 6 pi. Remember. Okay. But in the reference angle, we can subtract 3 pi because I'm looking for a reference, not a coterminal. So if you subtract 3 pi, you will find the reference angle without going to coterminal first and then find the and then find the reference of coterminal. Just subtract 3 pi شباب. Okay, if this is not confusing for you, it is pretty short, right? To find the reference.
Doctor, what is the 4 and 2.7 and 6? What are those?
So when you see a 4, what does it mean, Shaba? Is it degree or radian?
Radian.
This is radian.
Radian.
This is 4 radian, Shaba.
But Doctor, isn't radian supposed to have a circle above it, or no need for it? Like,
Radian.
okay,
Right. This is radian, Shaba. We don't have a circle. Circle for the what?
degree.
Degree. Yes.
Degrees.
So these are not degrees. These numbers are radians, Shaba. So your problem is when you don't see pi, like this, when you don't see pi, then you get confused. What is this for? Well, 4 is a radian, Shabab. 4 radian. A pi radian is 3.14 radian. Pi means 3.14. You see? Now, where is this 4? Well, 4 is greater than pi. Pi is 3.14, Shabab. Please do not forget, pi is 3.14. Very close approximation, huh? Close approximation is 3.14.
Doctor,
Yes.
if we change 4 to the radian with pi, how much will it be?
Change 4 to radian. I have never seen a question like this, Shabab. What do you mean, change pi to radian?
I mean, change 4 to look like 7 in pi on 10, like this.
There is no conversion like this, Shabab. You just need to understand 4 is 4, pi is 3.14, so 4 is clearly greater than 3.14. That much simple, Shabab. All right, so 4 is greater than pi, but 4 is less than 3 pi over 2. Because how much is 3 pi? Can you tell me, guys?
1.5 multiplied by 3.40.
3 pi is around 9 point something, right? 9 point something. So when you divide 9 point something by 2, it is going to be definitely greater than 4.
Yes.
So 4 is between pi and 3 pi over 2. So Shabab, you are in the quadrant 3 now. 4 is in the quadrant 3. So how did you find the reference in the quadrant 3?
We subtract pi.
4 minus pi is the reference angle. 4 minus pi. So if you like to see how much approximately, 4 minus 3.14 if you like. This is 4 minus 3.14. If somebody still doesn't understand what is pi, pi is 3.14 radian. So if you look at this 6, Shabab, well, 6 is less than 2 pi, of course.
2 pi will be 6 and something.
Yeah. So it is less than 2 pi. So it is in the quadrant 4, of course. So in the quadrant 4, you need to subtract 2 pi minus 6 will be the reference of the 6 radian. 2 pi minus 6. How about 13 minus 4 pi? Yeah. 13 radian. Well, 13 radian
4
is
times pi will be greater than 13.
greater than, you know.
No, I mean 12 point something. It will be.
Yeah. So it is greater than 2 pi, greater than 4 pi. So?
Do we need to find coterminal, Doctor, here?
Yeah, when you find when you subtract you know 4 pi, you will get 13 minus 4 pi. Shabab. Now this will be also a reference angle. It is coterminal, but also a reference angle, because this difference is quite small. 13 minus 4
Yes.
pi is quite small, Shabab. Can you see approximately how much?
0 point something.
0 point something radian.
Yes.
So it is a acute angle, Shabab. 0 point something radian is acute angle. So it is coterminal and also a reference, because it is already a small angle. So reference of 13 radian is 13 minus 4 pi, exactly. Approximately 0 point whatever, you know, you can calculate. 4 times 3.14, right? 4 times 3.14 is
12.56.
Aywa. If you subtract from 13, it will give you 0 point something, which is quite small angle. So it is a reference angle also. Yes, it is coterminal, also
Doctor,
reference. Yes.
the small angle, it is in the first quadrant, right?
Yes. 13 minus 4 pi is a small angle, Shabab. Yes. Right. Well, let's solve maybe this one, or maybe let's stop here, inshallah, and we'll continue from this page, inshallah.
Doctor?
Yes.
When will the quiz be?
Quiz, inshallah, 8 p.m. tomorrow, Tuesday, Shabab.
Tomorrow? It was on Wednesday, wasn't it?
No. Unfortunately, the students, other sections mostly choose the Tuesday, Shabab.
Doctor, many students have chemistry 101 quiz tomorrow. I told you yesterday.
Yeah, that's fine, Shabab. You need to handle, Shabab. You need to handle, unfortunately.
I asked the other sections, they don't have nothing on Wednesday. And I told them that we have chemistry 101 on Tuesday, and they said it is easy. And then I said it's easy for you, not easy for me. But they have nothing on Wednesday.
Shabab, unfortunately, I have not much chance to change it. So please, you need to bear with this, Shabab. Maybe you can talk to your chemistry teacher if he can postpone it to Wednesday.
He told us a week before. I don't think he's gonna change it.
I told you, Shabab, from the last week. So what can I do, Shabab? These are a conflict, and sometimes my son is taking 3 quizzes in one day sometimes. That is normal, Shabab. You are a university student. This is quite normal. If you have time close, what time is your math chemistry quiz? 12 in noon or what? Or in the morning?
It's about 2 or 3 p.m.
Okay, so the math quiz is 8 p.m. You see?
Okay, Doctor.
Shabab, this is normal, Shabab. This is normal.
Doctor.
Yes.
I have a suggestion that you make the quiz like from the next week. You make it on every Wednesday.